Hey guys, welcome into tonight's live. Welcome to tonight's show. Welcome on in. Hopefully, you guys are having a great weekend. I was about to say a weekday because we're not even at the weekend. Sorry about that. We're only on Thursday, not even a Friday yet. Look at me getting all ahead of myself. I feel like it's been Friday though, like all week. I think it was Tuesday. I was in someone's chat and they were like, or no, it was yesterday actually. They were like, because I remember them saying hump day, happy hump day. And I was like, oh, thought it was Friday. I don't know why. I've just been in a Friday mood. I've been in a Friday mood all week. I guess it's probably because my Monday started out kind of rough, on the rough side. So um, it's nice to see you guys. Hey, baby girl, look at you being the first one in the chat tonight. It's good to see you. It's so good to see you. Hey, Tracy. And I did see that about Rex Heuermann. I actually I didn't get a chance to look it up myself, but I saw that body moving. She put it on her YouTube and I saw it on hers and I was like, "What?" So apparently he's supposed to, if you don't know who Rex Heuermann is, he's alleged serial killer on the Go-Go Beach, the Go-Go Beach serial killer, Long Island serial killer. I mean, he could be, there's so many different names for the Manorville butcher. You can call him a little bit of everything. But he's a serial killer that was, primarily on the East Coast. And he's been in jail for a couple years now. Sorry, I keep touching my eye. My eyelashes are bothering me. I didn't think I thought he was going to take it to trial. I figured maybe the whole, how his wife got the deal with Peacock. I thought maybe that was like in the deal, keep it going for as long as you can. I don't know. Hey, Ladybug. Hey, Casey. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Catherine. You're off today. Oh, I bet that was nice. Hey, Canvas Bloom. 92. It was actually really nice here today. It was almost 80. I was kind of like, I was happy, but then my body wasn't happy. It was like, you are not, my mind was ready for summer, but my body is not ready for summer, let's just say. I'm like, oh, I threw on one pair of jeans. I was like, these aren't going to work. So I had to put on that. They're the same size. It's just the way that, I don't know. It's so weird. So weird. Hey, kitsy cats. So I put on my big old sweatshirt when I got back here today. And I was like, I'm feeling good. But it was like, I think 77 or something here. But it's raining now. I guess we're supposed to be getting like hellish storms. So if I just go gone all of a sudden, I got a little thing that I could plug this into. It's not a generator. I thought it was, but I guess it's like not a generator. It's like something that you just charge. It's like a battery thing, battery pack. When I saw, I was like, that's pretty shocking because I figured he would. I mean, he was like, I didn't do it. Actually, he really hasn't said much. His wife did, kind of. She really didn't say much. No, did she either? I think they all think they did it. I think he knows he did it. I think his kids, his daughter says much, and his son, I don't think he knows as much, to know that. Like, I think that he does know, but I think that it might have taken him a little bit longer to get there because I know he's been like, developmentally delayed. So it's just gonna be hard on the whole family. I mean, I feel bad for his wife a little bit. I do, because I mean, especially if she didn't have nothing to do with any of this. But girl, get your hair like under control. Because I don't know how he managed to get your hair out into that, all the way from your house into those fields and into some of them bindings. But I'm not the DA. Hey, Hart, welcome in. You made it on time. And my new little intro is pretty fast too. It's like 14 seconds. It's so fast, I surprised myself. So last night on our show, we talked about Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra and their deaths and death of Fabian, their unborn child. That's what his name would have been if he were to have been born. He was supposed to be here. Well, from the day of their murders, he was already a week late. So I don't know. Maybe that was, I don't know, God does things in mysterious ways. But I wanted to talk about the verdict today because they did come to one. I knew they were. I knew they would come to a verdict today. So we were talking about the case. We were talking about the trial that's going on with Christopher Preciado. He's been on trial for what, 7 days? And they already came back with a verdict. They already went through everybody they wanted to talk to. The defense didn't put on anybody at all. The prosecution put on 37 witnesses and defense 0. That doesn't say, that says a lot actually. And they came back with a verdict today. So I think they went back to deliberate around 12:30, and they were back within like I don't know how long it was, maybe a couple hours. Yeah, he's guilty. It was quick. I was like, wow, that's quick. So I thought we would just go over it's kind of like, so KSAT has been there, we were talking about that lady last night. She's been in the courtroom or courthouse ever since it started. So it's a little bit of a look back, like not a look back, but like it'll have some of the anchors on there, and then it'll go over to in the courtroom. And then they had to fix their sound because on one of their videos, I was like, this sounds terrible. But they did fix their sound so you can hear the victim impact statements. They're very short. I think the longest one's like 2.5 minutes long or something. So they didn't need very many words. And sometimes you don't. But so closing arguments were today. The prosecution argued that that this was not an accident. It wasn't panic. It wasn't self-defense. They argued that it was a deliberate robbery that ended with 3 murders. Christopher Preciado arranged the meeting with Matthew Guerra through messages and they tied it to a drug deal. And they said that the motive became robbery, especially after evidence showed Guerra's jewelry and rings were later discussed and traded. I believe one of them was like a Versace ring and another ring he had. I'm assuming that either he couldn't bring himself to take the jewelry off Savannah, which I don't understand why he couldn't, because he put a damn car seat on her like she was nothing. But, or maybe she didn't have any on, like I was saying, because she, was expecting to go into the hospital. So that could have been why, Matthew was wearing jewelry and she wasn't. But prosecutors pointed heavily to the surveillance video, the phone records, deleted social media messages that he had on his Instagram, and his own police interview. The state also argued that after the shooting, the bodies were moved, the evidence was cleaned, and the vehicle was abandoned. And they said that it wasn't out of a conscience of guilt. It was out of a conscience of guilt, not out of panic. So he wasn't like panicking and just taking the car there. This was all out of like, him being guilty. A major part in their closing was there was too many, these pieces, too many pieces to fit together to be a coincidence. And that's basically what they stopped with. Take it from here, pretty much. But, the defense attorney argued investigators built a timeline, but parts of it still relied on interference. It would be like if he could go back into the trial and like point this defense attorney wouldn't be able to. And jurors could not convict based only on assumptions. Well, they had a lot more than assumptions. They had phone evidence. They had surveillance evidence. Even his own mama was involved, and they let her off. I don't know how she got out of there. I don't know how she got off. I'm going to look at, that's going to be on my next to do. Cause I'm like, I don't know how I might even do that actually. Well, I watched something earlier from her, but it didn't really tell me much. But yeah, so, okay. The biggest part of closing, one of the strongest parts was, if it was self-defense or chaos, why hide the bodies, wipe the evidence, and move the car? He didn't go on the stand to answer that. So after the verdict, family members gave their victim impact statements. Several directly addressed Preciado. And then emotions were very intense in that courtroom. I mean, they had all kinds of cops. Like as soon as she started reading off, the charges and all the, what the jury was going to come back with. Like one of the guys, he like turned around really quick. I thought it was because I don't know. I don't know if it was because he was ready to like make sure, no one was going to go anywhere, or if he had to turn around to physically like turn around because he was going to like get emotional. I don't know. It just seemed like it could have been either or with one of the officers, which I can understand that being in there for that long, looking at all of those pictures, all of the everything. I mean, she was pregnant, we know what happens. And a lot of times with pregnant women. And yeah. And this guy was a piece of work. I'm sure that there'll be people, waiting on him once he gets into general population. They'll be wanting to get to know him a little bit better. And not in a good way. So basically the next thing that's going to happen also, they might even talk about it in this, but I wanted to tell you before I forget. With Raymond, his father, he's not charged with murders, but he's charged with abuse of a corpse. So, and that's because he helped conceal and they helped move they say conceal. I don't know if they said that he helped move them, but I know that they said that he helped conceal them. But Raymond helped afterwards by moving the vehicle. He did move the bodies. Yeah, he did. And the alleged cover up. And that's what happened after the murders. And he is going to be going to court for that. So I don't know when he goes back when he goes back to court, but it's in Bexar County, but it's spelled Bexar. So it's continuance on his part. And the gun was hers. I don't know how that works. I wonder if he could even get out of there without even like getting any jail time, for abuse of a corpse. I think that there's like, isn't it like Las Vegas or something somewhere where you get like 6 months? It's weird. It's like,
we the jury.
So the beginning of this, I believe they'll be in the newsroom.
Find the defendant Christopher.
Actually, I lied. Okay, so I'm gonna take you back because I watched too many of these videos today. I don't know why my thing won't do that. Okay, so when they first start talking in this one, they're going to go straight into the charges or like straight into the like you're guilty kind of deal. I don't know why they did it like this, but they did on this one.
We, the jury, find the defendant Christopher Ray Preciado guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. Signed the presiding judge.
How many we got here? We got 1. Is that 1 right here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know if that's 1. So we'll say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Count 2, capital murder of individual under the age of 10. We, the jury, find the defendant Christopher Ray Preciado guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in count 2 of the indictment. Signed the presiding juror. Count 3, capital murder, intentional murder during robbery. We, the jury, find the defendant Christopher Ray Preciado guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in count 3 of the indictment. Signed the presiding juror. Is there anything we need to address from the attorneys at this time?
All right, good afternoon. We're coming to you here with breaking news. I'm Myra Arthur alongside Ernie Zuniga here. We have, as you just heard, a guilty verdict in a capital murder trial, guilty on all 3 counts of capital murder for Christopher.
And I forgot to tell you guys, even though he's in Texas and death penalty should have been on the table, they took it off. So they're not putting, he won't be getting the death penalty, unfortunately, which I mean, I think that he should be getting it.
For Preciado this afternoon. He was accused in the December 21st, 2023 murders of Matthew Guerra, Savannah Soto, a young couple that was missing for days, as well as the death of their unborn child.
Matthew was 22 years old. Savannah was 18 again in December of 2023. And of course, their unborn child. So this is a verdict that played out moments ago. You saw the tape playback because the judge did not allow us to live stream this live in real time. So this has just been delayed by a matter of minutes here. So we have Erica Hernandez standing by. She's in the courtroom right now as the victim impact statements are being made. And our Avery Everett is outside the courtroom getting reaction from the families. I know, Avery, you've covered these families extensively going back to 2023. And at any moment, you're waiting for them to come out of the courtroom.
And we'll hear both. I think it's kind of like maybe backwards, though.
Yeah, guys, I am. We are standing out here in the hallway. Like we just heard, Christopher Preciado was
I don't know why I did this.
of capital murder. We're waiting for the family to come out of the hallway, out of the courtroom right now. We're also expecting Ramon Preciado and Mirta Romanos to come out of the courtroom as well. Again, this all just unfolding in the last couple of minutes. We have also heard at this point that right now we have a reporter inside the courtroom. They're doing victim impact statements. Now, while Christopher Preciado does face life in prison, this is the opportunity to speak directly to Christopher. But we're waiting right now for the families to come out of here. And like I said, for his parents, Mirta Romanos and Ramon Preciado, to come out of the courtroom right now.
All right, Avery, we will check back in with you as you get reaction from those families. And I just wanted to, you saw a police officer, a deputy there coming out of the courtroom. And definitely, if you were watching as the verdict was read, there was a heavy law enforcement presence in that courtroom. Yeah. There has been so much tension between these families ever since this happened, but especially in the last 7 days as this trial has played out. The defense, we know, the prosecution called 36 witnesses over the week plus of this trial. The defense called no witnesses. They did say that, tried to make the case that Christopher Preciado committed this murder as an act of self-defense, that it was not murder, it was self-defense. Obviously, the jury did not agree with that, coming back again with all three guilty verdicts for all three counts of capital murder.
And Marta Romanos, the reason why we talked about this last night, she got off of she's not getting off of anything. So let me rephrase that. They took the charges off the table for her as of right now because they needed another continuance for more time to test, like, I guess, the weapon, or like to see if her fingerprints were on it. They needed more testing. They needed more time for testing. And the judge was like, no more time. And I can understand that. I mean, you had 2 years. Where was the urgency, right? So I wanted to tell you guys that because I forgot we did talk about that.
And so Avery mentioned Ramon Preciado, the father of Christopher Preciado, and he has been made headlines himself as well because he is facing charges of tampering with evidence for his role allegedly in helping to dispose of the bodies back in December of 2023. And part of the security presence, the overwhelming security presence, if you will, in that courtroom was tied to the other day we saw when he came into the courtroom and sat down, and there was a little bit of back and forth, gamesmanship in the courtroom between the two families. And ultimately, they decided to quite literally bring those officers or those deputies in and kind of divide the middle of the courtroom there to separate the two.
It was a big moment in this trial when the judge allowed Ramon Preciado, Christopher's father, to be in the courtroom during these proceedings. Ramon and Christopher Preciado's mother both had previously been accused of helping to cover up this crime, helping Christopher after these killings to dispose of the bodies, to get rid of some of the evidence. We know that, I believe it was late last year, that charges were dropped ultimately against Mirta Romanos, Christopher's mother, but his father, as you see there, still facing those accusations and those charges.
Right. So we're seeing all of this play out again, going back to 2023. We had a feeling that this could come today. I guess the one question that was lingering was how long the jury would take. If you were watching,
he might have gotten smaller again.
Our newscast in the 12 o'clock hour, they were still deliberating, and I guess it was around 12:20 when the jury finally went back and began deliberating what ultimately became guilty verdicts.
So we were showing you just some file footage of the scene when this all happened back in 2023. You saw that car there. That was really a key piece in this case because Investigators believe that Preciado had met up with Matthew Guerra and his girlfriend, Savannah Soto, who was pregnant. She was days away from being induced to give birth to their baby boy, and ultimately her not showing up to that appointment to be induced to have their son is what tipped off family and loved ones that something was wrong. Days later, they filed a report that she was missing, and then it was a day or so after that that their bodies were found. And we heard the prosecution talk about how Preciado had met up with Guerra, possibly to take some of the money that they believed he thought Guerra had. And that was a key piece of testimony, the messages that Preciado sent in the days before and then right after, talking about making some big purchases or selling rings to someone else. That was a key piece of testimony throughout these last 7 days of trial.
He was asking somebody about a battery, how to buy a battery for a car. If you cannot afford a battery or a car or car wheels or whatever it may be, then you just don't get it until you get the money, right? Speaking of which, I'm driving again. Speaking of which, and he is Princess. He definitely is.
All that on Instagram too, as well. So you see that social media component that was part of that. All that. Okay, we're going to stand by. So we're going to bring Avery Everett back in again, standing by outside the courtroom there, waiting at any moment. Family members coming out, and again, we're just minutes removed, Avery, from the verdict, and the verdicts came in, and then the judge. We immediately went into the punishment phase, which we knew would be automatic life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah, Myra, Ernie, just so you know, I can hear you now at this point. So if you do have to ask me questions, I can answer. Like I said, we're still waiting in the hallway. We know those victim impact statements just wrapped up. Again, I'm not here in the hallway. We have a reporter and a photographer inside the courtroom. I want to read a statement that was just emailed out from the Bexar County District Attorney's Office. Good afternoon. Following a trial that lasted over a week and a half, Christopher Preciado was found guilty of capital murder and officially sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And this is in the case of the triple murders of Matthew Guerra, Savannah Soto, and unborn baby Fabian. Myra and Ernie, I was thinking about it on the way to the courthouse today. I've been covering this case since Savannah Soto was first reported missing from that original Clear Alert. Myra, I know you were giving a timeline just a couple of minutes ago, but we've been seeing every stage of this case really unfold over the last more than 2 years at this point. I still remember the day that we were out there on Danny Kaye, and we were behind the crime scene tape, and there was just a line of people waiting for answers. These three people were very valued in this community. I mean, look down the hallway, just how many people are waiting because the courtroom is full at this point. It is a packed courthouse.
Wow. Look at that. That gave me chills. You know, look at all those people waiting. Koberger didn't have that many. Just saying, you know. Now the victims would have. But man, there's some people down there. I know those are officers right here, but you can see there's people down here, people right here. Oh man, they're all ready for a guilty. I know, it's called get a job, apply, yeah. We're in this parents, he did. For fuck's sakes. Right, he could spend all of his money on car parts. He was too busy buying, I guess, weed, which weed isn't, I mean, like that expensive if you want to buy it. Buy a battery and a blunt. Don't buy an ounce. I don't know. You know, here and there. But now you're just going to go to prison. I wonder which one he's going to go to.
House, it's a packed hallway, and it's a packed courtroom at this point. So really, we're just waiting for the family to come out at this point. Like I said, we're waiting for Christopher Preciado's parents to come out at this point, Mirta Romanos and Ramon Preciado. We are expecting to see Ramon next in court in May. Mirta Romanos, her charges were dismissed back in November. We were there when both of them got out of jail. Ramon when he was let out on bond, and when Mirta's charges were dismissed. So we've really seen every stage of this court case play out. I was able to talk to the families briefly while they were waiting for that jury verdict to come in. They say that they haven't been able to eat, sleep. They've been waiting for this verdict. They were just hoping that it came today or tomorrow. So obviously we know that there's some relief for the fact that it has come today. So Myra and Ernie, that's where we are. We're still waiting in the hallway.
It's incredible, just that shot that you were showing us there of all the people, Avery, lining the hallway, just how much attention is on this case. I mean, it really, if you're talking about rewinding to when this crime happened in 2023, right before Christmas, just the incredible interest and outpouring of comments that we saw, reaction online on social media to this crime. And it really has, it's continued to garner that attention and people just wanting to know what ultimately will happen, what happens with Preciado's family going forward. Obviously, you know, everyone feeling for the victims' families. And I know that Erica, our reporter that you mentioned, was inside the courtroom and still is. She talked about just yesterday how over the last couple of days, the courtroom audience has just exploded with
They're
people,
packed in there, yeah.
with people not only linked to the families and, of course, everyone who is part of this trial, but other people who are not at all linked, who just want to be there to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, she was talking about how
That always seems to happen. It seems like at like the end of a trial, like more people will show up. Like, but I mean, I guess that she's right. People were just in the probably just wanting to be nosy at the end. I'm just saying, like, if you ain't here for day one, don't just be here for day one. Day one through all the days.
it was even for the journalist, kind of, you know, shoulder to shoulder, if you will, with some of our other fellow media members in the community here. So again, we've got Avery on standby, and she's kind of just looking over her shoulders here as the doors open. So we're kind of watching this with you in real time. Erica, again.
And don't worry if or when I go for Caleb and for Michael McKee's cases and Caleb Flynn's cases, I'll make sure I get in there. I'll be elbowing people
Inside the courtroom, and Avery mentioned that those victim impact statements have just now wrapped up. And so as soon as we can get to Erica as well, I mean, Erica, she's been covering this for so long as well. So, okay.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to do a reset on the other side, get you caught up on everything that is happening so far, and bring you the latest from inside the courtroom as soon as we touch base with our reporter there. We'll be right back.
They come right back. Well, I thought they did.
The courtroom is now talking to people reacting to this guilty verdict today. Let's listen.
This is Matthew's brother here. And I believe maybe that's Matthew's mother. I'm going to say, yeah, because the M on, oh, that's sad. Oh, that's so sad.
Any thoughts?
You'll get to hear from them. They do speak inside the court.
Any thoughts?
He deserves what he gets, and now we can be at ease and able to, you know, be good with our kids.
Good to see you. Rachel, how are you doing? No worries.
God is good, guys. All the time. All the time.
Probably all sick.
Are we gonna get
Well, she looked like she was mad.
All right. You're watching live here as those in the courtroom audience essentially walk out, loved ones, friends, family members of the victims of the Preciado family as well. Our Avery Everett there, Erica Hernandez, just walking out. We understand victim impact statements were given, which is that moment so often we see in trial where a victim's family has a chance to address the person who was ultimately found guilty of a crime. In this case, Christopher Preciado, again, guilty on all 3 counts of capital murder. One of those related to the murder of someone under the age of 10, which in this case was the unborn child of Matthew Guerra and Savannah Soto.
So again, what you're watching now is playing out live in real time with Avery and Erica. Again, the judge had not allowed, typically a lot of times you'll see on our KSAT platforms, we will live stream court cases, trials as they play out in real time. But in this case, the judge had ruled that out despite our multiple requests to have cameras in there and be able to do that. So when you saw the verdict, again, we had to kind of relay that back to you with a couple of minutes delay. But let's get back out to this is the prosecutors.
Anticipatory. This was a long time coming, and I'm really grateful that we were able to do this for them and give them some closure.
Yeah.
Everything was really quick, the verdict. How do you feel about being so fast?
Again,
So they let his dad in there for some odd freaking reason. I don't know how, because he's a co-conspirator. They didn't. His mom wasn't in. I didn't see his mom. I didn't see Marta anywhere, but her charges have been like dismissed as of right now because they wanted to send out more evidence to be tested. Like you had 2 years to do that. Why? What's going on? So the judge was like, "No, we're not going to do that. We're going ahead with trial." So now Raymond and Christopher are on trial. Well, not together, but they let Raymond go into the courtroom. They let him go to the court. Like he was outside the courtroom in the court hallway without like anything on him. Like, I don't know. It's very weird. And this is Texas.
Relieved. We all worked really hard to make sure that the case was presented as clearly and effectively as it could have been. And I think the jury coming back as quickly as they did means that we did that.
What does this mean for the future? I mean, we're expecting Ramon Preciado and expecting him next in court in May. Do you feel like this will have an impact?
So since the case is still ongoing, we can't really comment on that right now.
And what's your name again?
Melissa Alban.
Can you spell your last name?
Alban.
And Melissa with double S?
2 S's, 1 L.
Melissa, will you guys be refiling charges on Mita Romanos? Will she be reindicted?
Again, because that's still an ongoing consideration, I can't comment on it right now.
Why don't you brag a little bit about your team, because you're the front woman here, but you are surrounded by people who have really worked hard and put their heart and soul into this. Tell me a little bit about your people.
Absolutely. Ross Lewis was my partner. He's a second chair at our office, and he worked really hard with me to get this case ready to go. And Richard is our appellate brain. He made sure our jury charge was as appropriate and correct. That's really important for appellate purposes. You know, we wanted to make sure that we had a really clean record because he's going to appeal. And we wanted to make sure that we did everything we could to have the best chance that we can to overcome any kind of appeal or appellate challenges that he brings. And Richard made sure that we did everything that we could and that the record turned out, I think Richard would say, pretty well.
If anyone ever let him out on parole after killing 2 kids, two young adults, 22 and 18, and their unborn child would be out of their mind. I hate when lawyers say that. Yeah, we got him in there for the rest of his natural born life. You know, that's what we were trying to do. No, not in this case. That's not what you should have been trying to do. You should have been trying to send him to the freaking death chamber. I'll say it. If there is not a case for someone to be sentenced to death, then if this isn't the case, then Texas, go ahead and your death penalty is gone. We just yanked it. Titanium Built Channel. We yanked. Texas is no longer a death penalty state. So I don't know who the number 1 state is going to be. It might be Oklahoma anyway. They might have already outdone you.
Talk to me a little bit about the family, because they were continuously admonished to keep their cool. And it was very difficult for them because they've had 2 years to think about all of this in a 2-year way. And you guys,
you kept your cool. Listen to this lady, and she says they've had 2 years to think about this. So is she. What do you mean? She's the prosecutor. She's had more time than that defense attorney probably had.
We said, be calm, be cool, even until the last minute, and they did.
This was emotional, you know. We had a lot of people who lost not just 1, not just 2, but 3. So I can only imagine how difficult this was for them. So I think that they overcame very difficult odds and challenges. And I think that as the family of people who were murdered, I think they did a really good job.
I have one more question. Why, if you felt so good about it, why you didn't, or the DA's office didn't go for the death penalty in this case?
The outcome here is that he is going to go away for the rest of his life.
The outcome would have been, lady, he would have been 6 feet under in a pine box. We're going to go back on this. We're going to go back because he just asked her the number 1 question. If you were so strong in your convictions on you had all this under control, why didn't you go for the death penalty in this case? And then she goes, You'll hear. We're going to go back because this is the best question of the day. Whoever this reporter is, I like him.
He is here.
That felt good about it. I have one more question. Why, if you felt so good about it, why you didn't, or the DA's office didn't go for the death penalty in this case?
The outcome here is that he is going to go away for the rest of his life. He is going to take his last breath in prison. And that is going to preserve and protect on a lot of appellate issues that we would have to encounter if we did seek the death penalty. So we've eliminated a lot of those issues that could have come up if we would have sought the death penalty.
But now the taxpayers of that county, of Bexar County or whatever county he goes to, are going to pay for him to live for the next 60 plus years. He's only 21. What is this lady talking about?
So at the end of the day, he's never going to be released from prison.
So are those the main issues that you took into account to not seek the death penalty?
I wasn't part of the decision. It was before I was assigned to the case.
So she's been letting them tell her all this whole time they've been out here interviewing her that she's the main one. You're the main girl. You're the main boss. You're the boss. That's what that one lady was saying.
So all I know is that the outcome here is that he is not ever going to be released from prison. And so I think that is a positive outcome. And I think that the family is relieved that we were able to do this.
What is on your heart that we haven't asked you about?
I know I sound like a broken record, but relief. This was an emotional, long trial. We all worked really hard, and not just the three of us here. We have a whole team of other people, our advocates, our investigators, other prosecutors who weighed in on things. So it was a team effort, and I think that it reflects, how seriously our office takes these kinds of cases.
Wasn't a team effort on that death penalty.
Perfect. Thank you guys.
For joining us.
Let her go.
All right, just hearing from the prosecutor there who really just repeated relief, that this was the verdict they were hoping for. It is the one that they got. She also said she was grateful that they were able to do this for the family. Again, Christopher Preciado will go to prison for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole after those 3 guilty verdicts for capital murder.
Yeah, you just heard from.
I wonder what Matthew and Savannah's family would have wanted. I'm just curious. I'm good. If you would have came in about 5 seconds before though, and you heard me and I was in my rant, I'm sorry. But this case really gets me. Okay, you all know kids and elderly. Those are the two. Everybody else can fend. Y'all can, and animals. Y'all can fend for yourself in the middle, But like, they were going to have a baby. They ended up, that's how bad it was. They ended up. It was a week. She was a week past due. And they ended up not even being able to go to the hospital to have their baby.
From Melissa Alban, so she's a co-prosecutor for Bexar County, and she mentioned, because she was asked by one of the media members about the death penalty, and she said that decision was made before she was assigned to this case. But again, Christopher Preciado is 21 years old, and again, will spend the rest of his life in prison. We've just been able to turn around the sound from inside the courtroom, those victim impact statements that happened just a few moments ago. We're going to listen to that right now.
Every one of us here, you took Matthew and you took their unborn son. He didn't even have a chance to live. Not one day. Me and my cousin planned together to raise our children. And she did not get to do that with me because you took her from us. But I know one day you will finally get what you deserve. Because you took something And you have no remorse for any of us. And her mother right here, and her father, they cannot talk, but I will. I will talk for my cousin and her boyfriend and their unborn son. They did not deserve what you've done to them. But I'm glad that they see you guilty, because you will spend the rest of your life regretting everything that you have took from each and every one of us in here.
The cousin there of Savannah Soto sharing an emotional message to Christopher Preciado, talking about what
I don't know what it is about the sunglasses and the glasses that go to sunglasses when you go indoors, but it's supposed to be like outdoors, but does it indoors. I don't know what it is about those, but man, they just irk me. He's wearing a pair.
All he took in the 3
They'll take them from him too.
lives that he ended in this case that prosecutors say was ultimately what was supposed to be a drug deal and then ended up in the killings of Savannah, Matthew, and their unborn child.
And we blurred part of that. You kind of saw the diagonal line there on the screen. We had to blur that because the jury was being brought in as that, or taken out of the courtroom, if you will, as that victim impact statement was being made. And obviously, we're not going to show the jury on the air. So that decision was made here. But nonetheless, the victim impact statements, if we can turn around some more, son, we'll certainly get that to you in a moment. But we are standing by because Avery is...
Okay, we're going to fast forward here because they just talk about... There we go.
Erica, you were in the courtroom, so if you could kind of just give us, let us know how all of this unfolded.
Yeah, Ernie, so there was a lot of emotion. As soon as those guilty verdicts were read one by one for each count, there was emotion, immediate emotion from the family. No big outbursts. It was just a lot of, you could almost see the weight lifted off their shoulders. Avery, I know you've talked to the family for years, but you could just see the relief, a sigh of relief in just letting go. And then after that, the judge immediately sentenced Christopher to life in prison without the possibility of parole, like you guys said. And then we went into victim impact statements, which just was done a little differently because of all the security in the courtroom. Each member who was to talk just stood up from where they were seated and directed their impact statements toward Christopher. We heard from several members of the Soto and Guerra family, the parents, siblings, a grandmother, all very impactful statements. We're working on getting those all up for you to hear some of those reactions. And no really any emotion though from Christopher Preciado. Now, obviously I was sitting in a back corner, Avery, so I couldn't see him directly, but from what I could tell, there wasn't a lot of emotion. I didn't see any reaction from Ramon and Mirta either, but I don't know.
Okay, so they were in there for the hearing. So they were in there for at least this part of it. Parents were allowed to come. I mean, well, I guess his mom's allowed to go because, I mean, she has no charges against her. But his dad does. It's just so weird to me.
We don't know what they're feeling. We don't know what's going on. But from where I could tell, there wasn't a lot of emotion.
Well, you know, they could be feeling whatever they need to feel. They were there helping their son that night. So that's on them.
But a lot of emotion from the families who were just breathing a big sigh of relief, Avery.
Well, when you were inside, we were able to talk to the families as they were coming out. Some family members who we've spoken to over the last 2 years didn't want to speak. They're still processing everything that happened. We were able to hear from Matthew's mom, who is a very quiet woman, but she spoke to us. She was in tears. She said that she felt like justice has been served. If we're able to take a little clip of her, we would love to be able to share what she said as she was walking out of the courtroom.
I'm going to bring my son back so I can imagine that it's over.
We're so sorry for your loss.
It's not going to bring them back, but I mean, at least now we can just focus on healing and, you know, just keeping their names lived on forever. Savannah, Matthew, and Fabian. And for the three of them, you know, they're going to get theirs. That's it.
Do you feel like justice was served
I
today?
feel like justice was served, yes, for sure.
But I imagine it doesn't make the guilt any easier or the heartache. Sorry.
I will say, Avery, yes, they do feel justice was served, but some of those family members who gave victim impact had direct messages saying it's not over yet. We, you know, Ramon Preciado still faces charges in the case. We still Unknown if Mirta is going to be re-indicted in this case, but I know the family is hoping that they get justice on those ends as well.
Well, I was hoping that we'd be able to talk to Ramon or Mirta when they were coming out of the courtroom, but you saw them.
No, so they've been highly guarded throughout this whole trial but today they went through a back door in the courtroom and were escorted for out of the building, and then they weren't going to let the families leave that courtroom until they knew Ramon and Mirta were clear from the courthouse altogether.
So over the last
like freaking celebrities? Are we kidding? I know that there's a duty to keep people safe, right? How about keeping Savannah and Matthew's family safe? How about keeping those family members safe? And Chris's family can go out first, and they can go out the front door, and her family will be taken out a side entrance. That's crazy to me. The mom, she was there. She handed the towel to the husband to wipe off the door. We know she was there.
2 years, you've covered all of the court appearances.
Yeah.
I've covered when they were walked in front of the media, when they were first arrested, and then also when Ramon was put out on bond and he was released from jail, and then when Mirta's charges were dismissed.
Yeah.
Now, for the most part, they have not spoken.
They can still pick up her charges. That's so when they dismissed her charges, I should have told you, I forgot to tell you guys that part. The most important part. They can reindict. So what is it, with prejudice? Yeah, with prejudice. They dismissed them.
It all to us. But I still remember that night, just after January 2024, Christopher Preciado said nothing when he was walked in front of the media as he was being arrested. But Ramon said, you don't know the full story. You don't know the full story. So here we are now, 2 years later.
And I think we got a lot of that full story. There was a lot of gaps at that point that we didn't know what had happened. But I think the evidence that the state presented, mind you, wasn't like video from inside the vehicle, was really strong circumstantial evidence of Christopher's.
See, that's where I was seeing him. Like, doesn't he look smaller there?
What he was doing before and after the murders were committed. So I think it was strong enough that the jury came back in less than 2 hours with the guilty across the board for all 3 counts of capital murder.
Yeah, we didn't know what the timeline was going to be on this jury deliberation.
I mean, I've been into some trials where it's taken minutes, and I've been in some trials where it's taken days for a deliberation to be reached. So you're kind of in a guessing and waiting game as you're out here in this hallway with, talking to some of the family members as they were anxiously waiting in the hallway. So you never know with
surveillance right here.
How long a jury is going to take. But today it was just less than 2 hours that they took.
While you were hearing
this would have been Marta. I can't say her name. I can't roll my R's. I wish I could so bad. I wish I could. And Raymond. And then, so their kid would have been in Matthew's car at this point.
Victim impact statements. We were able to show Myra and Ernie just how full this hallway was. I mean, we've been able to show video clips after, not live streams, but video clips after of the courtroom. This hallway was packed.
Yeah.
This courthouse has been packed.
It has been really packed.
Parking has been packed because people have been following this.
Yeah, it was beyond just the Soto and Guerra family members. There was a lot of them here, but people who have been following this case for the more than 2 years now on social media, some of them trying to show up to be in the courtroom. I mean, it is an open court by law. Anybody is allowed to come and watch a trial, but if it's full, it's full. I mean, we were pretty packed in there like sardines today just to make sure all the family members could be in there. So I could understand that this has been something that's been followed since day one when that first missing persons report came out for Savannah Soto. So it's something that we've closely been watching and viewers have been close.
Actually, why didn't they push some of those news people out of there and let some of the family come in? I mean, I'm saying that I'm not news people, but I like to watch the news and I like to report the news. But you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's what it was. Maybe there was one person from each station allowed to stay in there because that's why she stayed and the other girl didn't stay. She was like right outside the courtroom. She was like right outside that door.
Watching, so there was a lot of eyeballs on this case.
So Erica, I'm curious. So obviously, just getting to this point. Oh, go ahead, Myra.
Well, I just want to make sure we're talking about how closely people have followed this case, and I mean, obviously, you can see the part of the crowd still behind you there. But can you walk us through, Erica, what happened here? What was the crime? How did Christopher Preciado meet up with Matthew and Savannah. What ultimately happened to just get people caught up on what this person is convicted of here? 3 charges of capital murder. I mean, that's very significant. So walk people through what actually happened.
Yeah, so it was something back in December of 2023, just before Christmas, when that missing persons report came out for Savannah Soto. What was kind of shocking to everybody, she was just about to be induced and have her son, and she didn't show up for her doctor's appointment. So everybody was looking for her. Everybody then started looking for Matthew, and then days later, the day after Christmas in 2023, both were found dead in his vehicle at some unknown apartment complex the families didn't know about in Leon Valley. There was a lot of questions as to what happened to them, who, what went on, that they ended up there. And then we find out almost a week and a half later, I want to say, January 3rd, after the 26th of December, when Christopher Preciado is arrested, and nobody had heard this name. The families didn't know this name. And then the affidavit letter detailed how this all started as a drug deal, and that there was a meetup of some sorts, and that this ended up, and what Christopher was saying was claiming self-defense, that Matthew was agitated, pointed a gun at him, and that they kind of battled over the gun and both were shot. And investigators off the bat said that none of that matched the crime scene. And from seeing the photos this week of that crime scene, it is very difficult to think how that self-defense claim was brought up, because of the way of how Matthew and Savannah were killed and the positioning of them in the car. And that's why the medical examiner also explained that this week.
They had him in the back seat. They had Matthew in the back seat. So it's crazy. He was in the back seat with his pants down. Chris couldn't even have just like, I mean, if you're going to take a man for his life and for his little bit of money that he has, give him his dignity. And then you're going to throw a car seat on his pregnant, just about, I mean, she might as well have had that. I mean, like, she was ready to have that baby. She was a week over. Oh, I'm waiting on this dog to take this bunny from behind me. We're going to be fighting if she takes this bunny. She was looking at it earlier. I don't think she even realizes it's there anymore. She's a good girl.
As well. And then, we followed this case. Eventually we find out his dad and his mother helped allegedly to cover this up. And I know people are going to get mad at me and say, don't say allegedly in this video, but they have not been found guilty of any crime yet. They are still charged in this case with lesser charges of tampering with evidence. And I think the other one is abuse of a human corpse. That's basically for moving a body from a location. So we're still watching those 2 cases closely. I know there was a lot of people upset that Ramon was allowed to be in the courtroom during this trial for his son, but he was not going to be called on a witness. The only people not really allowed in a courtroom are those who are going to be called up as a witness, and then those who don't follow the rules. But he was here pretty much every day for this trial, as well as Nita Romanos, who had her charges dismissed in November of last year. So it was a very high-profile case, Myra, and I think because of the fact that they were so close to having this baby, there was all this lead up to trying just to figure out and fill up the gaps of what happened. But I think that the prosecutors throughout this case have shown that evidence of this was all about money. And
just think, wherever they lived, somebody had to move them out. All that baby stuff. All of that stuff. That they had that whole nursery, or at least that bassinet beside the bed, all ready to go. There was things. And their families had to come in and take all that down and pack all of that away. And that's devastating. That is. No wonders why Matthew's mother doesn't speak very much,
And for Christopher to apparently buy car parts.
Matthew's family is coming this way, so maybe we can interview them really fast.
Okay, we're coming down.
Would we be able to talk to you all? I know we spoke to you briefly, but would we be able to talk to you all? They have the microphone?
I don't think so right now, not all of us.
No, that's okay. If someone doesn't want to.
Okay.
I'll just hold the microphone. You can look at me. First, tell me your first and last name.
My name is Sabian Hernandez. I'm Matthew's brother.
Matthew's brother.
I love him, by the way. I think that I think he's a really cool guy from this, like the clips I've been watching all day today.
To be here now, 2 years later, how do you all feel?
He spoke on like a couple of the, like both of the local stations.
I feel like Matthew and Savannah definitely feel vindicated. We feel justice has been served for Matthew, Savannah, and Fabian. Physically, I know that they're not here with us today, but I know that they were in the courtroom with us, and they're just as happy as we are that we got our justice. And I mean, now our family can just focus on, and that goes for all of us, Savannah's family, our family, everybody, all the supporters, everybody is just like, now we can just heal and just like continue to live their names on.
How has your family found strength to show up every day and even live the last 2 years?
As far as finding it, we just had to get up every day, put our best foot forward, and just continue to fight until justice has been served, and that's what we did today.
We're still waiting to see what happens with Ramon Preciado and Berta Romanos to see if her charges come back. What's your message to the Bexar County District's Attorney's Office about keeping momentum on this case?
I think that they know what's best to do. I think they were just as involved as Christopher was, and I think justice should be served when it comes to them too as well, the mom and the dad.
I have one last question for you. So many people have been invested in this case since the first day.
Yes.
What does that mean to your family?
Honestly, it means a lot. I woke up today and I saw there's a Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra case page that everybody posts on, and everybody was commenting where they are in the world. It's from Australia, New Zealand, Colorado, England, and to all of them, I just want to say thank y'all. My family really appreciate y'all, the support that y'all shown us, all the love and the fighting that y'all have done right along with us for this justice to be served is, been justified today. And I want to thank everybody for y'all support.
I appreciate you. Eric, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you guys.
I'm so sorry for your loss still.
Thank you guys.
Good to see you recover. Myra, we're going to wait to see if any other family comes out here, so we're going to send it back to you and Ernie right now.
All right. Avery and Erica, thank you very much. We just heard again from Sabian Hernandez, the brother of Matthew Guerra there, again, just minutes after these verdicts were read. And then, of course, the punishment, which we now know is life in prison without the possibility of parole for 21-year-old Christopher Preciado.
And it just seems that the family, both the Guerra family, the Soto family, they feel relief right alongside of the prosecutors in this case for getting that guilty verdict.
I mean, I can understand that, I guess. Where are you going? Oh, great. The other one might growl. Hold on. Let's see. She just wants to lay with you. Oh, don't lay on her. Thanks, Araya. She did good that time. Normally, Araya's been growling lately. And I think it's because Mia's 80 pounds of like muscle. And Araya has muscle too, but like Araya's 40 pounds. And Mia will just lay on, like flop. She doesn't lay down. Like Mia doesn't know how. She does know how to lay down gently. She does, but not on her side. Like she doesn't know how to go down very good. She goes down like as good as a horse does. And so she'll go on the other dog, and the other dog, it's like, I can't breathe, So I don't know if I was going to have to like pause you guys for a minute or mute me for a minute, but so we'll find out what happens with Raymond. He's next on the chopping block. And then we'll see if they give any more charges to Marta, which they could still charge her. They said, they did, file the dismissal, or where they dismissed it without prejudice or with prejudice, so that they can refile it again if they wanted to at a later date. And if they come up with the evidence, I'm sure that they're going to, which I don't understand if, they have I'm sorry. Well, if they have Matthew and Savannah in the car with Christopher, he's pulling the car back there. Then the dad and the stepmom comes, and the dad gets out, and the stepmom, you can see a hand like this with a towel. It's like a little hand. It's not like I remember us watching that, like the surveillance video, and we're like, what kind of hand is that? And I think we all knew it was a woman's hand, but I can't remember exactly how we knew, but we knew. I don't know if it was the way that they did the towel or something, but I was like, I remember us saying that's a woman. And it ended up being Marta. And so they have her on surveillance. They have them going back to the house. They have surveillance at their own house. So I don't get it. And why is they all have different, they have like weird, different last names. That's weird. Hey, TM. And if you didn't see that big bunny over my shoulder, look at that thing with its little bunny feet. And it's one little ear that you can see real well. It's sitting beside that's supposed to be an egg, an Easter egg. I forgot to decorate for Easter until like a couple days ago. So this is going to be going through April. Even though it's like April 5th or something, Easter's on. But I'm going to take that bunny. I'm going to go cuddle with it. But I'm kind of afraid to take it to the other room. See, the one that likes to chew things, she's sleeping right now. Like, I'm not looking at you. Yeah, their first baby boy. Yeah. First little, I mean, 18 years old. And all that. I mean, I just couldn't even imagine. I could not imagine. I remember my brother and sister-in-law, they were giving birth to two of the oldest two they're my brothers. They're my brother's kids, but he didn't birth them. I mean, he didn't help, with that. I don't like to say he's not their real, like he's their stepdad, because I don't know. I hate saying that. I hate saying that. So he's their dad, but because they have, how many kids they got? 5. They got 5. That took me a second to think. I didn't think about that for a second. That's bad. But so for 2 out of the 3, because there was only 3 with me, being there, like being in, my brother and my sister-in-law started dating, then, that's how I met her. So obviously, actually I met her before him. He just doesn't know that. She did my hair before. But I went over to their house and I cleaned it. Like I cleaned it. Like they must have knew what they were doing by sending me in there. My brother must have saw the OCD signs for what they were, because he had OCDs really bad. So he was probably like, send my sister in there. I mean, I ended up in my niece's closet. My niece at the time, they were like probably, when my nephew was born, they were probably, I don't even know. I'm just going to make up ages really quick. 5 and 7, right? Or like 3 and 4 or something like that. 3 and maybe like 3 and 5 or something like that. And so I'm in their closet cleaning. I'm organizing little doll houses and stuff. And I'm like, I remember like going like, what am I doing in here? The baby ain't going to be in the closet. What am I doing in the closet? And then the second time I cleaned was worse than the first time I cleaned. I don't know why. I was there twice the amount of time. It wasn't like their house was messy or anything. I just was like Lysol and everything, cleaning, deep cleaning again. You just never know. You don't want a baby to get sick, And then I had to make sure we aired it out for a couple of days. Because you know me. Right. Higgins, that's what it is. Yeah. Like when they need something, they're like, Dad. My brother's like, what do you need? And his oldest made him a granddaddy. So, twice over. Wow. My dad is a grandpa. Or my brother is a grandpa. I said my dad, my brother is a grandpa. When shit hits you all of a sudden, he's been a grandpa for 7 years now or something. I'm like, he'd be that old. We're getting older. Yeah, no, it's hyper focusing. I have that too, but they diagnosed me with OCD too. My brother, it was real bad. Our family just has it bad too. It just, cleanliness, repetitive. My brother was repetitive. He was very repetitive. So I'm not like that. But no, I don't know. It could be a little of both. It's bad. It's not like stupid things, like picture crooked thing. I don't care if that picture can be crooked for the rest of my, live long days, as long as my junk drawer is perfectly in line. I'm good. I really do have a nice junk drawer. But I appreciate y'all all coming and hanging out with me tonight. I did a live earlier today too. We did one on the second channel. If you're not familiar, it's Unfiltered with Tanya. It's a little unfiltered side. Oh, and Vincent's mom's listening. Thank you for the goodies. Thanks for sending Vincent some stuff and adding a couple things. I don't know if they're for him, but I take a couple of his things. So, like the Girl Scout cookies, the Thin Mints had that said Tanya on the box. I'm pretty sure you wrote it on there. I think it was under Girl or Scout, but I took those. I ate them. I'm like, I ate them. They were so good. And what else? I ate some other stuff too that you sent in there. Vincent's mom will send him like a care package with all these Japanese goodies and stuff. And of course, I don't eat the stuff. I don't eat the seaweed that he gets or the candy. I'm going to try. We're going to try to put some candy back and we'll try. Oh, I was like, she sent what? And he was like, she sent Girl Scout cookies. And I was like, what? And some chocolates with some nuts in them. I'm like, yeah. But then she sends that the Japanese candies. I don't know what they are. They're obviously I don't know what they are, but I can't even I don't know what they are. So Vincent won't tell me what they taste like. He's just like, he's like, they're really good. And the way that he eats them, you could tell that he enjoys every single one of those that you send. So please don't ever stop sending them for him. He really he'll eat these little nut looking things, but they're not. I think they look like a nut, but I don't think they're a nut. And he'll make this chomping noise, but it's not a chomping noise. It's like, if he's listening right now, he'll be beating me up. But he makes this noise and I'm like, you love them. And I think he thinks of home when he eats them too. So he's just in the whole experience. Seaweed, yeah, he'll eat it right out of the freezer. He don't care. And then now he has a jar of it. I put that in the fridge, I think. No, I didn't. I don't think he told me to. I think he told me to. I think I did. I think he did. I think I did. She sends all kinds of cool stuff. Sometimes we'll get pumpkins. In the fall time, we'll get green pumpkins. They're I've never seen a green pumpkin really before. We don't have green pumpkins over here in Ohio like that. We do now, but not when I was little. I don't remember having a bunch of different colored pumpkins when I was little. And then she'll send us fruits and lemons and stuff from her lemon tree. Yeah. No, I'm not eating tofu. We have enough for a small supermarket. Vincent likes tofu. Except the whole JLR being an abuse. So were you on my live earlier, Crystal? I'm telling you, that is Jay's trolling voice. I got to write that down to watch Molly Go Lightly tomorrow. Higgins, you might know her. You might know her trolling voice. If you do, if you ever heard Jay is for Justice's trolling voice, where was that? Where was that video earlier that I had? Was it on X? Because there's a video floating around of someone calling into Molly Go Lightly and saying that she was JLR's girlfriend and she was going to come in and show more proof. There's two girls. I don't know. But the one sounds like Jay's trolling voice. I was like, that sounds like Jay is for Justice. Well, actually, I said, oh, that's what I did. I did that. And I didn't want to gatekeep from anybody because I don't go and make a noise like that and then just not tell anybody what kind of, why I made the crazy noise. But when I heard it, I was like, it was on my second channel. I was like, oh my God. I was listening, and it's her inflections in her words, like the way she says, like, how did she say it? Like, and I'll catch you on Friday, or the way like she says it, like that's not how she says it. That doesn't sound like her, but the way that she like spaces out her words like that, it was like you have to. Yeah, she's back, Molly. Yeah, and she's back. She's back. She's chewing more than ever, louder more than ever. It's a lot. So the other day, I was in there minding my own beeswax, listening to Molly. I never listen to Molly, like ever. I probably listen to Molly literally, I'll be honest with you, 3 times in my whole life. And I just happened to be in there, like, you know what I mean? Like in this live. And Jay is for Justice is talking to Molly Golightly on the phone. They're rekindling their relationship they had back in, the olden days when they were down in Florida together in front of what's his face's house, right? Causing all the commotion with JLR and BHB and all them. And this person, the way that this, like, so we're listening, so we're doing our own JLR coverage today. And I was like, just like, that's kind of weird. I didn't know that Molly and Jay were cool. Or, I thought that they had like falling out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they did. It doesn't matter if they didn't. I just thought they didn't talk. And that's just me. I don't talk to neither of them to know. So how would I know? But someone had called in. This was on it was on Nerdy Addicts X. And so someone had called in and I was listening to it. And this was they called in on the same day on Molly's live because I could tell by her outfit. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, oh, is that her trolling voice? And everyone in the chat said it was. Everyone that like listened to, because I made them all go back and like we rewound it a couple times. I'm like, you guys listen. Is it just me? Because I didn't want to say anything because I felt bad because I was like, but is that Jay? Because, I didn't want to say that this is not a victim. This could be a victim. It could be a victim, but it sounds like Jay's trolling voice. And I just need someone to go and check it out. Yeah, it's something about her, like the way she says Fridays, like Friday, like we'll check it out on Friday, or like when she says like something like that, it's just the way that like she pronounces the words, pronunciates. Well, they were at in front of Gabby Petito's ex's house. I can't think of his name. Piece of crap. It doesn't matter anymore because he's, long gone, forgotten about. But yeah. And then Quentin Simons. Yeah. But Jay didn't go to Quentin Simons. I don't think she ever went down. No, she never went down there. Molly did, though. See, that's what I'm wondering, Higgins, because I heard her taking up for JLR. I heard she's been taking up for JLR. But if she's taking up for JLR, why would she be trolling? And I know that Molly knows it's Jay. Molly's not, I'm not saying that Molly is like not aware. No, Molly would be totally 1,000,000,000% aware that would be Jay's trolling voice. I'm about to pull it up. Good point. I mean, I just want to know. I'm about to ask Jay. I'm be like, Jay, are you trolling? What's this? Ohio death scene public photo ban following Moscow murders becomes law in Idaho. Oh, well. Yeah, after you gave us the pictures and you had the victims in them. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Let's see. I might have. I don't know if I put it on. Let me see. Oh, where am I going? Okay, we'll just go to his page. Oh, I had to scroll. No, I didn't have to scroll that far. Oh, look at this 3 hours ago. Oh, I think it's the stuff that we listened to already. I could have sworn it was on his page. Oh, wait, that's the first one. So we got to go scrolling down because the second one's only like 25 seconds. Okay. Now, The only thing I don't have is the audio of Jay doing her trolling voice. I think who was it? Someone told me today what it was on. It was on. Oh, I will never find it on his. I don't even know if he has his channel anymore. He used to hang out with Brittany. All things serious. I'd have to look it up. But I just wanted you guys to hear this because I'm like, is this her trolling voice?
Go on.
Okay.
Live with you, maybe like on Friday evening.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna text you, pictures, and if you need anything else, just let me know. But I 100% feel that Jonathan did beat her up.
Oh, I did too.
Molly just, I did too. I think this might be Jay's trolling voice, or it's a victim and I'm the one being trolled. Okay, so we're going to go back. I'm going to go back and we're all going to listen to this again. And if it's a victim, I'm so sorry. But it does sound like Jay when she has her trolling voice on. I've only heard her troll one time with the voice. So that's what I'm saying too. I'm saying I've only heard it once. So my ears could be wrong. But when I listen back, if I don't hear the whiny voice, like it sounds like this, right? Like if I was just talking with my nose, like that's what it sounds like to me. If I take the nose part out of it and the way that I were to talk, like, the way I talk, I say y'all or you guys or whatever I say, there's going to be something in here that she says or she does. It's going to be like, you're going to be like, oh, that sounds like her. I don't know. Maybe, or maybe not. You let me know.
Go on.
Okay.
Live with you, maybe like on Friday evening.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna text you, pictures, and if you need anything else, just let me know. But I 100% feel that Jonathan did beat her up.
Oh, I
know
did too.
him, and I can tell you, I know him better than anybody.
Does it sound like her in her trolling voice? You don't think it is? It's not? Okay. You don't think it's her trolling voice? Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked. That's why I asked y'all. Well, I asked everyone in the other group, and the first-hand group said, yeah, that sounds like Jay. Because, like, the way that she says, like, her enunciations of words. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm trying to say? Like, I've heard her say, like, we'll come back to this, or we'll check this back in on this, or whatever, on Friday, or whatever. I've heard her say something like, in her real life. I've only heard the trolling voice once. So that's why I was like, is that her? Well, I'm so sorry. Well, I'll be there to listen tomorrow. Because she's supposed to, this lady, whoever this lady's supposed to come on the show tomorrow, right? So if Jay for Justice does a live tomorrow night, or whenever this lady's on this panel, then we'll know. Then we'll know for sure. So, Jay, you got to go live tomorrow night. I don't know what time. Thanks for letting me know, Casey. I figured I knew that you knew her for a long time. I mean, I knew that you knew her, like, and I was like, okay, maybe, and I knew that Ashley followed her. I knew she was like a new follower. So I was like, maybe Ashley will know too. So sounds like her to me. But it must just be one of them. And I'm wondering, is Molly like really? I mean, because I'm wondering if Molly thinks this is Jay. Or if Molly got off of this interview and called Jay and was like, Jay, was that you trolling me? Or you know what I mean? Because like that does sound like her trolling voice. Have you heard her troll when she did it on what's his name? I just said it a minute ago. Well, I'm just saying I had a 150 people or something in my chat earlier today, 120, and they were all saying it was her. I don't think she called her out. No, I mean, I'm saying if they were working together. That's what I'm saying. You never know. You never know. I wish I could really go to. I know it's not out there though. I don't think does he even have a channel anymore? Like, so I'll go look for that voice because it's going to drive me nuts till I can hear the. I want to hear the like her trolling voice, but I'm trying to think of what's his name. I just said it. Because I don't know if she trolled like with it and whenever other people were there, or if this was just like the one time she did, but it was in, I can't think of the guy's name now. But that sounded like her to me. I don't know. It just sounded like her to me. That's why I was like, is that right? But yeah, no, because we were on the other live earlier today, and I was like, when I heard it, I was like, is that Jay? Like Jay's trolling with it actually, like, you know, when like you hear something or you see something and you just can't help your expression says it all, or like that's how it was. We were just on a live and I was like, oh, I was like, no. I was like, surely not. And I said that probably for like 5 minutes because I was like, no way. Because what I wanted to do, I didn't even want to show this one to everybody. It was a different one because I was like, this is putting me out there. Like, this is putting me and my neck on the line because I'm trusting Magnolia and I'm in my chat telling people, don't victim blame, don't victim shame in my chat. And you know what I mean? So this would have been going against my own word. Like, so, but yeah. Anyways. I'm just going to go ahead and get off of here for this evening. But I'll see you guys all later on. I'll be back on. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. I'll probably be on Saturday, but probably not tomorrow. If I do, it'll be on the second channel, but I don't know. I might take a couple days off this channel. Maybe, yeah. Maybe a day or two. Or I might do... Maybe I might even just take some Friday off, come back Saturday, and then take a few days off. But we'll see. I will have some videos out for you guys, though. I do have some stuff on the Patreon that I just put out for Idaho, and I will see you guys all in the next video. So I'll see you guys all later. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah.